This is the story of Popping Pointy Patches, written by Elaine Reese Wyman, and Rita Friedman is the illustrator. Popping Pointy Patches. Mr. P is proud of his pointy patches. Pointy patches can be useful in many ways, says Mr. P. Oh no, people say. Patches are only for covering holes. Why, that's not true, said the pointy patches. Let us show you what we can do. Purple Patch sees a painter. Your pants need some color, says Purple Patch. I can give you color. Watch me pop on your pocket. Please pop off of my pocket, says the painter. Patches are for covering holes. Polka Dot Patch sees a pair of pajamas. These pajamas need a polka dot, she says. Watch me pop on the pajamas and make pretty pajamas. Would you please pop off my pajamas, says the salesperson. People will not purchase pajamas with a patch. A patch is for covering a hole. People want patches to cover holes, says Pink Patch. Patches want a chance to do other things. I will try to find jobs for you, says Mr. P. So Mr. P telephones many people. Nope, 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 nope. Sorry, they say. Patches are only good for covering holes. Then one day, people discover that they are wrong, and it starts at the library. During story time, the librarian is reading a story out loud. Suddenly, her throat feels sore. I must rest my voice, she whispers. After a while, she tries to read out loud again, and the same thing happens. I'm sorry, said the librarian. We cannot have story time. The next day, Mr. P goes to the library. I will be pleased to read out loud for story time, he said. Mr. P starts to read a story. Suddenly, he stops. I can't read out loud anymore, he whispers. My voice is very tired. No one is able to read out loud, sighs the librarian. We will not be able to have story time ever again. Mr. P looks at all the pages in the book. You know, the problem is not reading out loud, he says. The problem is reading the books. The books? What's wrong with the books? Asked the librarian. Well, all the pages are filled with words, said Mr. P. They go on and on, page after page. There's never a place to pause and rest your voice. You know, readers need a place to pause when they're reading. Pointy patches can provide a place for us to pause, says Mr. P. Mr. P, how can we do that? Asked the patches. Here, just pop on the pages, said Mr. P. But where on the pages do we pop? Asked the patches. Well, people will help us discover the proper places for patches to pop, smiles Mr. P. People will take turns reading out loud, continues Mr. P. They must discover the proper places to pause. Each time a proper place is discovered, they will say, Pointy Patch, pop on the page. There'll be many pointy patches popping on each page. Well, how can patches popping on pages help people read out loud? Asked the librarian. Each pointy patch will be a signal to the reader, explains Mr. P. Our patch will say, pause, and rest your voice. This is a pointy patch pause. Oh, I understand. Signal, says Polka Dot Patch. When I cross the street, I look at a traffic light. A traffic light is a crossing signal. A pointy patch will be a reading signal. Everyone likes the idea of pointy patches pausing. We'll take turns reading out loud, says the people. When we discover all the proper places to have a pointy patch pause, the patches and the people work together. Finally, every page in the book has a pointy patch pause. The Patches are very proud, and no one has a problem reading out loud. Then one day the Pointy Patches decide to leave the pages. You know, something else has to take our place, they explained to Mr. P. Pointy Patches are too big, they say. The pages need something very small. You know, something as small as a dot? Asked Mr. P. A dot, shouts the Patches. A dot is a perfect pause. Dots can be printed on every page, says Pink Patch. Each dot will be the reading signal. The dot will say, pause for a second. Rest your voice. This is a dot pause. Ooh, a dot pause. I like it, smiles Mr. P. The printer likes the idea of dots. I can print dots on every page, she says. However, I will need the Pointy Patches to work with me. They can tell me the proper place to print each dot. We'll be pleased to work with you, smiled the Patches proudly. Soon, every page in every book has dot pauses. Suddenly, people now have jobs for Pointy Patches. Some Pointy Patches are picking peaches. Others are packing pineapples or planting petunias. They are proud of their new positions. However, best of all, Pointy Patches like popping over holes.